Now what? Now we're gonna come back out tonight, but since everybody seems to like my videos, and I don't mean it in the good way, but since everybody likes hearing my opinions and commenting on it so damn much, I figure, well, what the fuck? You give some more shit to talk about. You know, it's like I said, if the idiots watch my videos, pastor up here running his little mouth, behind my back as always. You can sit there, read your little book, look at the walls, sing your little songs, read your little book that nobody knows half the shit about anything that the person did in there. God don't have any likes. He don't have any dislikes. Only thing I know that he likes is stuff that have no value in, nothing. People say, "Oh, I feel so good when someone, when God hugs me. How does he hug you? You don't even feel nothing. It's like I said, it's a spiritual thing." I got that messed up. But anyway, back to the main issue at hand. I got that messed up. But no, I need to say, like I said in the videos, if anybody pays attention, which apparently they don't pay attention, I didn't say that this offer was for everybody to like it. As a matter of fact, just to tell you, it's not about one certain thing that you couldn't get from anybody else. It's what happens when you get older and your family disowns you and treats you like crap. When if you ever had that happen to you like we have, and I'm talking about before I met my wife and some of it afterwards. When my dad passed away in 2013, they were trying their best to do away with it. The only talking point was, well, I didn't get my way. I heard that from who I call the gospel, my grandmother at the time. I overheard her in the building in the church where they had the visitation that night, and then they had the funeral the next day. That was said, and there's many other things I could get on here and point out, but I'd be taking a lot of time up and giving you a history lesson of what it's like to have people who cared for you all of a sudden turn their back on you, not want you to have a job because you draw a certain disability check, and then turn around and tell you a little bit later, "Oh, I'm happy for you. I'm supporting you," and yada yada yada. I hate people that do things two ways. I don't like two-faced people. And like I said, it's been this deal. Yeah, I happened to look up some things and happened to find out kind of what this was, and I read up on it some, and I thought, well, hell, it's no different than somebody out there, taking in somebody, children and whatever, or giving somebody something to eat. I'm not looking for old people, okay? I got no problem with old people. But do you think somebody who is our age, think about this pastor for a minute, or any pastor out there. Think about this, Curtis, for one thing. Think about, like I said, if you were in our shoes for a minute, and you had to live the way we lived. You didn't have a car, you didn't have a job, and even when you had a job like I used to have, you got mistreated, you got, by people you didn't even know that was up over you, that said you were hurting their business, yada yada yada. There's things, like I said, I could go on here and it would take so much time up. But I'm going to say it and try to get to the points, to the biggest points of it. You ain't got no room to be talking. I don't even want you. Don't even bring it up. What do you get out of that? What did somebody's going to go to hell just because they want to help somebody that may be without a mom and a dad and a whatever? I didn't even look some of these people up, and they just came to me on Facebook way before you ever were heard of, before you even pastored down there. As a matter of fact, I've met some older ladies who were down there at Hardy's who, for a spare 5-10 minutes, I talked to them or whatever. But, I still talk to them when they come in, if they come in the pig or whatever, every once in a while. 5-10 minutes, whatever it is. But they've got their life. They've got everything they want. They're on retirement, or they're in a nursing home, or wherever they may go to. They may go to their own home. They may not even want to go in a nursing home, but they go out there just like my grandmother goes, plays her bingo, and all that other stuff. And you got a problem with me because you think I'll talk to anybody, but I don't offer them this deal because we want something that we can have for a lifetime. I don't want to take a chance of having an 80, 90-year-old woman in here, even though I wouldn't even want to put the thought of that, but just somebody in their late years. What if you only got 2 or 3 weeks? What if you got a couple of days? Maybe somebody 40, 50 years old might say, well, this guy's rich. And the woman might say, well, I'm 30 or 40 years younger than him. I'll just take advantage of him because he's got a whole lot of money. I used to know somebody named Tammy, although I didn't know her personally, like all the way personally, but I knew a neighbor just like that. She'd take advantage of the old people and other guys. But you know what? I didn't go around and do what you do and tell everybody that kind of business because it's nobody's business. But you want to insult me or my wife or try to make us feel bad? Look, you only get one chance at life. You do what you want to do, we'll do what we want to do. Just like you can't predict tomorrow, I can't predict what happens tomorrow. But you know what? I'm not throwing this in your face, going to your house, calling your phone, emailing you, texting you, any of that. If I were making you mad by simply just saying, hey, I want to just throw this out there, see what happens. Well, then I've won already. I'm getting you to talk, ain't I? I mean, you're not going to get me to shut up either way, but if I were you, I'd seriously think about just stop talking about it. Okay? It's not wrong. Many people do it. I even watched a game show one time. It took people in, young people. Some of them may have been old. Most of them young. They were in the audience. There's this family that didn't have to do this. Gave them people food to eat for Thanksgiving or whatever it was that one time on Game Show Network. Deal or no deal. I don't know what episode it was, what season, but I remember watching it. But instead of doing something part-time, and then like I said, nobody can do everything with everybody. It's not the point. Yes, it'd be a happy day if it happened. If we could come out of this making someone happy that don't want to run me or my wife over. You probably remember, as a matter of fact, what I dubbed the crack whore. But Susan, you probably remember that one. Somebody probably told you about it, or maybe my wife had said something to you back then. That was another case of something that wouldn't have happened had it not been for her going up to the apartment. Because someone had told her, well, I will give you this. Had I known she'd been on drugs before and was out there being a street whore and everything else, and basically doing everything under the sun, I wouldn't have let her in here. That's first and foremost. But it's over with. I got rid of her. She didn't like it. She pitched a big old fit. I didn't do it because it was right to make y'all happy. But I did it because it was the right thing to do for me and my wife when they didn't have even as much as we had. And the person had 2 kids. That's why I think I remember saying in the video earlier, that's why I said if there was no kids, it'd be a lot simpler to get to where we need to go. Like I said, I know there's a lot of challenges and a lot of things that would have to happen. For one thing, yeah, they would either have to have somewhere for me and my wife to go, a house or something, or if not, then we could manage to call around. And I'll make sure that the landlord knows. When I know for a definite fact that we're going to make it, that we'll be okay. We just tell her we're looking. And all that. Yeah, they're probably dry. But, yeah, anyway, it's just ridiculous that you all want to pick on me and Jessica because they want to have a little bit of fun while we still can, while we're still physically able. And why you may say, well, they say this and they say that. Well, what if we have a little fun on the side in our own home? It's not out there in public. It's not out there for your eyes to see. Maybe that's where your head's going. So what? I mentioned we do it here at the house sometimes ourselves. Ain't none. What if you had stuff in the house like that? It's none of our business. But I'm just saying, it's not about that. Most important thing is, like I said, I've had to put up with so much. My wife put up with just about as much, if not about equal, more, maybe a little more. But we tried the family thing, tried the righteous way of doing things. Gone by your little book. Didn't work for us. Maybe it works for 80 or 85% of the people, 90 of them, 90% of them, but there is 5 or 10% of people out there lost, out there don't have nowhere to go. So I told my wife, I said, well, we can't do this for everybody, right? But we can do it for one person who ain't about money, who's not about cards. And if I remember, my wife told me the other day, you were saying, well, and y'all were up there at the church saying, oh, well, this is why these people came down here, because we were on the side of the road seeing these people up there in Knoxville, going around. And so they somehow wound up all the way down here just because you all happened to stop your fucking car. And then they go down there and you don't do a goddamn thing for them, right? So what they do? If they'd have come to my door, I'd have fucking had them some food. I'd have made sure they had clothes. I'd have made sure they got something. You don't care about nobody but yourself. I don't want to hear you talk. You're gonna shut your mouth and you're gonna just shut up about it. Go about your preaching. Preach on that book some more. It ain't about doing the wall thing all the time. It ain't about doing any of that. Not even half the time. Like I said, the problem with you guys is you're focusing on the wrong thing. You got the wrong ideas. Because like I said, majority of the time, we're going to be listening to our music, watching our TV show, just like you do when you're away from church. When you are away from church, you're not as good as you claim to be outside, as I'm sure. You act all good just like everybody else would in there. You act like you're high and mighty because you've got a job. You think because you're a pastor that you're just going to go to heaven and that you're going to automatically get a spot up there, I guess. Well, and if you or some of the other people be like, well, at least we ain't out here, doing this, doing that, the unicorn bestie thing. Well, you don't have to. Like I said, you've got people up your ass, don't you? You got enough to deal with. They love you. Have it happen the opposite way and have yourself sitting there wondering what you're going to do tomorrow. Have somebody mistreat you at a job and 2 or 3 jobs, 4 jobs. Have your patience run out with just everyday people. When your patience runs out, it runs out. Yours does too. I'm sure you've got a limit just like everybody else. And I'm just going to tell you, the abuse from people when it comes to hunting jobs, I did fairly decent for someone who, as I said, I'm not using this as an excuse, but this is the facts. Someone that's handicapped, someone that, my wife did the same thing for many years. Like I said, we paid our debt. We tried several places out. Everybody else like you go in there and put on your little suits and your little ties and your little, all this fancy garbage. I'm sure they'll like you. I'm sure God's my witness that fucking hire you in a New York minute. But you're also the same person who said, well, Derek's right. Oh, and, well, God didn't just do everything, just because we asked him to. Okay. See, you were trying to get on my side there on that one. Then you go out here and you try to insult me or my wife and try to make me or my wife feel different, or maybe you would get a kick out of it if we was arguing or fussing over it or whatever. But it ain't gonna happen because, like I said, regardless, we have no choice. We're not gonna leave each other just because it don't happen. Like I said, it's not gonna hurt our marriage if the person in it wants it. What hurts is bringing someone in that doesn't have anything in common with you and that has no interest in you but has interest in other things they already got started, which is kids, which is other girlfriends, boyfriends, and all this garbage. Oh, I'm on top of it. And I'll make sure that they ain't gonna get by or fool my wife just because they may smile and put on a 5-minute show. I'm gonna make sure it ain't somebody off her old Facebook or whatever. I'm gonna make sure they've never seen her on there. I'm gonna make sure that it is somebody new, fresh, and somebody that, yeah, if they go to church, I may go try theirs out. I've tried yours out. I just ain't tried it with you standing over there. I got tired of fucking Philip and talking about him being drunk at the bar and how all of a sudden he just makes it all about himself, just like you do up there. Just you may talk about different things. You may pick on somebody. You pick on people. That ain't preaching. Everybody knows right from wrong. And at the end of the day, I'm always wondering, how you people watch this politics and this news and all this bad stuff. Yet you got a problem with one person maybe making a difference in our lives that would help not only us but them and make them feel better if they knew they were loved and cared for and they wasn't going to be alone and sitting there just wondering, hey, where's my next meal going to come from? And I'm barely scraping by. They may be in a cardboard box for all you know. I was telling my wife about one being in the shed down here one time and stuff, and I'd never seen that before. And I lived here for a long time. Oh, I'll drink it.
I'm making you hot chocolate.
Oh, okay. But I told my wife many times, and we sit here and talk about things. Sometimes it's a repeat. We've probably talked about it almost 100 times, the things that we talk about, but we don't fuss or fight about it. We just have a time. If we're sitting here doing absolutely nothing, which happens most of the time after you get all the chores done and everything else.
That's what I'm doing right now.
So when you get everything done, it's just sit here and we don't have a choice, like I said. So why are you worried about our fun? Why don't you worry about your own fun? Wednesdays, maybe your dad, maybe your mom will be gone. Maybe some of your people, maybe more of your people will be gone. Maybe you'll be sitting there one of these days without much to talk about and much to sit there and go do. Maybe one of these days your wife will be gone. Maybe some of your kids will move out on you. Maybe they'll leave your ass sitting. Then what are you going to do? Huh? Because I'm going to tell you something. You want to make this personal, I'll make it personal. Don't you ever pick on my wife again. Don't you say one thing to her. I don't want to catch her texting you. I don't want to catch you texting her. I think after tonight, enough is enough. Keep your God shit to yourself. Worry about what you got, whether you're going to live tomorrow, whether you're going to have any air to breathe, a heartbeat to worry about keeping your ass alive, or any blood pumping through your veins. Worry about you. Everybody else will worry about what they got going on. All I'm going to do tomorrow on my plate, my wife's plate, is try to go and get some groceries. This ain't about going up to everybody and saying, "Oh, will you be my unicorn destiny?" No. I believe they will come just like my wife come, which is, I know God's hearing this now. Okay? Just like I did when I was in the other apartment I used to live in. It took a year and a half for my wife to show up. You know how many times I saw her? Twice. You know, I saw her on Setter bus. I saw her, she saw me down there volunteering for Jones Street Cafe, for your information. And I wasn't sure, but, that she was available. But she said that someone, her sister at the time would try to set her up with some of these things, with some other people. But she didn't like it. And all I did, again, I waited. Oh, well, yeah, it's all right. But I just afraid it's gonna fall over. It look like it's gonna stand. But no, again, it's just like I said. This might not be 90-something% of people's cup of tea, but there's a good 5, 6, 7, 8% of us out there that have a third person in the home that maybe they found was genuine, nice, and would even when they get old, you still would love them in a way. You might not do what you did when you was 25, 35 or so. If you get 60, 70 years old and we live to have a long life, yeah, you'll probably slow down on a lot of stuff that you did then. But you still always be there for that person. Give them clothes, food. You'll never forsake them out of your own home. You took them in, you take them in for as long as they shall live. But I'm not going to take and start with somebody who's already 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. If I wanted that, or my wife wanted to start right there, there's enough fucking people out here to kill a dead man for that. We could definitely do that. It's not that hard to find old people. Yeah, old people may back in the day in the 60s and 50s and so on, up till, like I told my wife, up till we were born, our parents taught us things right from wrong. Hell, I told my wife, my mama, that I was giving them up. I was doing them a favor. They want to treat me like a dog. They don't want to text me. They want to treat me bad, my wife bad. And they want to use excuses. My grandmother wants to use excuses. I let them go. I let my brother go. They all got better things to do than hang out with me or my wife now. My wife got accused of a lot of things. When she got in the picture, everybody blamed her for all the stuff. I can remember before she ever came that I was all of a sudden getting blamed for my grandparents my grandmother not seeing a lot of her kin folks. What could I have done about it? I was a kid, a teenager. I was up there for almost 15 years living up there. If they didn't want me there, I could have moved in with my freaking dad. My dad was the nicest dad there ever was and there ever will be, in my opinion. And he would not have forsake his son. He would not have done what my grandmother done. He wouldn't have done what my wife's people's done to me. We have had not the roughest, but as far as just day by day, it's the same things. There's nothing to life once you get in your adult years, past a certain age, once you get out of school. And some of us can't afford to go to college. Some of us can't afford to be on TV or don't want to have to put up with the hassle and the travel and all that garbage. So instead, we lay low. I've tried to friend things. Like my wife and I have said, it just didn't work. Okay? Other people had other ideas. We had our ideas and they were shot down. Because we didn't know some of the things we know right now. And I let them go. I had 2 or 3 of them. They were more worried about other things and doing other things for other people in their family or going out here and doing what we're trying to do. So if it bothers y'all that damn bad, that we just might one day somehow up and get lucky. Because I told my wife earlier, before I got on here and made this video, I said y'all are going to hate it so much. Not just a little bit, but y'all are going to really be clammed shut. Your mouth's going to be, the only thing your mouth's going to do is be wide open. When y'all don't get y'all's way with us, and y'all see that somebody nice and special goes out of their way to make sure that we're, not that they have to be a slave or nothing like that, but that we feel good inside that we'll help them and then, that person help us and we'll pay, like I said, if I paid for a dinner, my wife pays for the next one, and they'll pay for the next one. We'll take turns about whoever's turn it is. But like I said, everybody does it. Maybe it's not the way you all look at it right now, but you want to talk about getting personal. And you bringing this shit up in front of a fucking church is fucking ridiculous. And I just ashamed. There's a lot of sins that you yourself, Curtis, and among others in that church commit every freaking week. So I don't want to hear it that you, of all things, want to pick on us because we're not having a great time with our people like you're doing with yours. So what, you're having a good time. I'm happy for you. Just don't rub it in other people's faces. That's all we're saying. We're not rubbing this in everybody's face. We're just letting the whole world see it. So maybe somebody out there could say, oh, man, I could relate to this. It might not be something I thought I wanted, but it sounds like it'd be a great idea. Or maybe the person's always been out there and wanted somebody to. Like about 90-something% of the people play me on there. Play my wife. We check it a couple times a day, Twitter, whatever. We check it a couple times a day. But I don't just, my block list is going to be so big. I get people all the time with fake accounts and all this other stuff. I even get people on YouTube right now. Every now and again, one of them comes up here with no pictures, nothing. And sometimes you don't know if it's a man or woman or nothing. You don't know anything. They just come out here saying, how you doing? What's your day? Hey, or whatever they're talking about. So at the end of the day, yeah, like I said, all of you need to worry about what you got going on and how much time you may have or not have, and worry about spending what you got to spend your time on doing. If you want to do it with what you're doing, then go with it. But like I said, you don't have to sit here and attack somebody for wanting something nice or to help somebody, and like you won't help nobody. And many of people, like I said, I just named a couple of them earlier. They came down there and some of these damn people stopped their cars just long enough to say, oh yeah, I go to 5 Point Baptist Church. Somehow they wound up down here thinking they were going to get help from you people. What'd you do? Nothing. You done the same thing. So I don't want to hear about it. Y'all are heartless. But yet, you know what you'll do? You'll make excuses for murderers. You'll make excuses for rapists, or you'll make excuses for other people who are in jail. You'll go read them a freaking book that I bet even half of the people in there don't even take it serious. I'll say this, a few of them do, but you're probably wasting your time doing that. Well, Eric, if I get one or two, I'm doing pretty good then. Well, yeah, in some ways you are, but I'm just saying, everybody doesn't believe the way you do. I was raised up too, to a certain degree, to like church. But you know what? My people didn't always go to church. They like to toot their horn like you do, apparently. And say, well, I took him when he was 2 or 3 years old, 4 or 5, whatever, however long it lasted. And hell, I even remember when I was down there for a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it was, in McDonald, Tennessee for a while. You know what? Instead of my mom and daddy going, me and my brother rode a van. But yet my mother tells me by text and other times on the phone, oh, I sit there every morning and I read the Bible at home. But she won't go to church. She actually just reads the Bible at home. And you say, well, Derek, you don't sound like you read anything at all. I don't read. If I want to read something, I've got the internet I could watch. I could even take and look something up on Wikipedia on this thing. I didn't like reading when I was in school, but I had to pass some of the stuff. You know, sometimes you do things that you don't want to do. But, you know, you can sit there and say what you want, but you ain't going to get your way. We may not get our way, but you know what? You ain't gonna get nowhere by attacking people. Now, if you want to sit there and if somebody openly did say, you know, our lessons on this and on that, say it one freaking time. Take a few questions over it. And then move on. Like I said, just don't sit there and talk about the same thing for a fucking hour and then say that was church. My goodness, y'all don't even read the book right. You don't even read the Bible right. You don't even read it from page 1 to the end. You just pick out 2 or 3 things, and like these people go and take markers or pencils or whatever it is they got, and they mark. Some of them may even just have a bookmarker, but they mark these places somehow, and they know about where you're going to start. So at the same time, you can sit there and try to pick on people like me or my wife or others out there. I ain't sitting there claiming that nothing that God's done is real. I'm not sitting there saying I'm a complete atheist, but at the same time, nobody like you or any other pastor halfway other than Jamie Davis has ever read that book like it should. He read page by page and did not say this. He did not say, well, God told me to preach on this. God told me to do that, like you all do. Jamie Davis preached up here at First Baptist. Yeah, we had our times where things came up and we didn't see eye to eye on something, and we ended up kind of leaving the church. But every once in a while, I see some of them, or once in a blue moon, I see one or two of them, and they might say hi or how have you been, how you doing? And like I told my wife earlier, my funeral's probably going to be with very few people. They're probably the least attended in a long time. I ain't worried about it. If whether I go first, my wife goes first, whether if we at that time have a bestie, I'll have her to take care of if that happens. But I ain't looking for nothing else. So if we don't get our bestie thing, if it's just me and my wife, that's how it has to be. But I ain't asking God to do it. I'm just saying, if it was a scenario that happened and they said something to us, whether it's tomorrow, next week, a year from now, whatever, if we're still capable of going out there, doing the little things that we used to do as a kid, and they like the same things we do, and we ain't out there in your freaking yard or out there at your freaking work playing basketball or doing stuff in your area, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. It'll be at a park. It'll be when the fair's here or wherever we go. I don't even believe in them famous people on them internet sites anymore. I just go with the flow. I play along with it because I don't know whether they real or not. That's why I told my wife we have to do this out here. If there's anyone out here, it has to happen out here. It cannot happen on the internet. But I'm saying, if there is somebody on Twitter, for example, and they're in Chattanooga, Cleveland, or maybe Athens a couple times, maybe there's one or two of them from Decatur. That's all you need. Maybe there's a 25, 35, maybe up to about 40. Maybe there's a woman about 40 years old. You know, if I could still reasonably see that, I'm almost 40. But I'm saying, I might sit here and take it out on them if they come to me and my wife and say, hey, you know, there's just something about you people that I like, even though I've never met you before. And they're so nice and sweet. What you want me to do? Just turn around and say, oh, yeah, Derek, Jessica just going to have to do that just to make everyone like you happy. No. I'm turning the people away that talk bad about me behind my back. And that talk bad about me at the Pig. And that talk bad about me at Hardee's. And that talk about me at my wife's people's gatherings. And that talk about me in a bad light. Most of my family, except for Mark and Melissa, I ain't putting them in there. But most, bless you, honey. But most, other than the two I named, are, and Pawpaw Dan, Danny. But the rest of them, most of them, are people that thought about themselves. They didn't care what I did. They never asked me to go anywhere. And then for them to say, well, I wouldn't have took it, they don't know till they ask. I sit there many a times wondering, why am I sitting here and taking this crap when I could be out there on my own and in my own apartment? You can ask my wife. You can ask half of the people around here that claim to know me just because my grandmother used to always like to get her freaking car out and run the fucking crap out of it so everything in it would fucking tear up. Every place she went, she would say things bad about me way before this deal came where we thought we wanted to do this deal. It's just a deal that if it was the right person with the right attitude And yeah, they may look like $1,000,000 on the outside, but it matters what's in here, what you can't see. Okay? Just like everybody's taught you, just like every one of your freaking kids, boy or girl, everybody's kids does what you do. Maybe they don't wind up like you teach them. Some people will go out of their way, and it's, if you don't believe me, you can watch the Steve Wilkos show, Maury, or one of these other TV shows. So they'll tell you, just because you raise them up to be straight, just because maybe you even raise them up to not drink, not smoke, not do drugs, that doesn't necessarily mean that's how they're going to be. You know? So, and they may not even like the same kind of church you do. Maybe you're a Baptist. I've been to Baptist. I ain't been to no other churches that, you know, but there's Catholic. There's all kinds. My brother's married to a Catholic woman. My mother had a problem with it. Like I said, if one religion was right, we'd be in trouble right now. Because they don't have the proof to back up any religion. If one person out here said, my religion is exactly right, every religion has its own beliefs. They have their own ceremonies. They take it for what they will. And you just have to pick what side of the fence you want to fall on. Everybody does something different. Even Pentecostal churches, I believe it is. Or what is that? Those, what do you call them people that drive up here in them vans? What are they called? God, what was it, honey? What do you call them people? Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. Jehovah's Witness people. They talk about Mary. You talk about God and Jesus. They want to praise Mary. And y'all get on to them. What does it matter? It's hey, we're learning something either way. About something. Y'all all you talk about is God this, Jesus that. You don't talk about any other person in that book like you do that. One or two. I don't know whether it's one or two, I don't care. But, you know, you leave pretty much everybody else out. You might bring them up occasionally. You might mention one or two of them just because, you know, that's part of the deal. But you never talk enough. You talk about preaching enough. Oh, hell, I went on here almost 50 minutes. Run you down like a frickin' dog. Because it's what yins are. Yins are biased. There's something wrong with you. Other than that, I don't know what else is wrong with you. But yins are biased. You're hateful. You don't help people. Help them people. If one of them girls that's homeless came up here, walked up here this driveway, banging on this door, wanting help, I wouldn't turn them fucking people down. No way. But you do. Because they're young or because they or whatever, they can't help it. Just like, what if you were to all of a sudden be in a time capsule and you went back? Couldn't you wish to be 18 or 20 again? 20-something? Stayed 20-something for the rest of your life, right? So you can't hate on us for wanting something like that. Like I said, I got all the respect in the world for old people. When it comes to dealing with them like I have to deal with them. You know, and as far as them teaching people stuff and passing things down, just in this last few years alone, though. And in the last 20 years, let's just say in the last 20 years, it don't seem to be working. Instead of things getting better, it's getting worse. And y'all are sitting there saying, well, I want more of this and more of that. Well, go out there and hand out your little pamphlets. Go to these people's doors and see how far you get. Stop having dinners. That's what's getting you the 20 or 30 people that you are getting when you do have a dinner and when you do have certain things, like I told my wife before. You ain't growing any other new ones. you're getting the same 5 or 10, 20 people, whatever it is you get on a freaking Sunday night and Wednesday night. You ain't getting nothing else. But on Sunday morning, you get a few more. Because once they feel like, hey, they went to church for one day or one time that week, Sunday morning they feel the most guilt, right? That's why I have figured out that's why there's more people at these small churches. I'm not talking about the big ones you see on TV, but the ones that are small and around here, like in these small towns, they do that. That gets them through their week. I mean, they might be held accountable for it, so will we, I guess, spiritually, but not in our physical form. He's just not going to waltz down here shadowy right now. We don't even know when. He won't tell you when. He won't tell you nothing he's into, but apparently he ain't into much. Like I said, if you had a job out here, you'd be plowing the fields, probably building these buildings. You wouldn't have all the fun, right? You wouldn't have any choices. You wouldn't have any choice in your music or your TV shows or whatever, your sports. I can imagine if he were here, you would even hate it after a while. And it probably wouldn't take me a week. I'd hate to have that bum looking in at me all the time and, around me 24/7. You damn right I'd want something different. I'd want some peace and quiet once in a while. But my God, it ain't wrong to set a goal. It's a goal that I'm not throwing in nobody's face. Like I said, if I was out here throwing it in everybody's face, I'd be going up to every freaking little woman and girl about 20-something years old. My wife would be. She's put in certain spots where at one time, for example, she cried yesterday, and we had to get us a little dinner, and she's worried about what Family Diner was going to say. Well, it's going to bring up this deal about what happened about 2 years ago. I said, honey, I doubt it. I said, look, it wasn't your fault. They talked to you, and they were telling you personal things and having you feel a certain way. They got on to me. They jumped on to me about it. There's an old lady in there jumped on me about it, and it was my wife's fault for what, she went up there and handed this young lady, she couldn't have been 20-something, and, she was just doing a nice deed. But the woman went back there and said she felt uncomfortable. After she went and told all these personal details that me or my wife didn't ask for, she went out her way to say more than hi and how your day was and all that. She went above that. And my wife just thought, well, she's told all this stuff. She don't sound like she has a whole lot. She don't sound like she, we didn't know. I don't know what all was said because a lot of it, I was in the bathroom when a lot of this was going on.
She was saying about our ex-husband and shit.
Yeah.
How he was treating her.
How he was treating her, and so I didn't know what.
Looking for a place.
So I didn't know. My wife's saying she looked for a place, and so I thought, well, what the heck,
You don't get that every
So
day.
you don't see it every day, and I thought, well, what the heck, be nice and offer this person something. And my wife did it, not me, but my wife. And I was trying not to get too excited because I didn't know, whether to. And I was kind of right, in a way at the end, even though I didn't want to be. But, my gut reaction was to not get too happy in front of about what seemed to be 50 to 100 people, whatever. So, again, you take all this in for what you will. But if I'm you, I worry about you. And don't worry about what we may or may not get. Because you may be in a situation that you'll wish you had a few extra people in a few years that you go out there and have your little fun with. But I'm going to let my wife, I've talked for almost an hour, I'm going to let my wife take over. All right. She's wanting to say a few words. Go ahead, honey.
I don't like how church was and him, you know, when he I made it this morning. I just didn't like how the preacher said tonight. You know, he kept looking at me because I know he was talking about, you know, looking at me and eyeing me on it, and it just made me feel uncomfortable. You know, he shouldn't bring up, you know, not letting people run your marriages. You know, I want this, and it's none of anybody else's business if I want something. Or how people stare at me, you know, because they knew he was mean, because there was a sheriff in my church named Stephanie, and she kept looking at me, giving me that dirty look, and I knew who, because she kept pointing at me, and I knew who he was talking about, and talking about how he met this lady at Shaw's, and she was going through a divorce, and she needed a hug. She was tearing up, and she said, she told the preacher that thank God he was there, that God put him up there at the right time that night, and
I'm sure he went ahead and give her a hug.
yeah, he gave her a hug.
You get on to us for something, and you're going out there and
Doing
doing
the
your shit.
opposite.
Yeah.
And his wife Diana didn't know about this, and he got caught. And he said he met her twice, and I'm like, okay, what's the point of it?
Okay.
And, you know, he said he didn't know who this girl was at first. She didn't tell her name at first, but the second time he did, you know, she knew who he was, but he didn't know who she was. You know, he said, well, she told me the second time at Shaw's that, you know, God just placed him at the right time. And she wanted to thank you for the hug because it made her feel better. You don't, I mean, you're yelling at me for doing that, Chris. Why do you do it?
Yeah.
Why do you yell at me, you know, and make me look bad in church? Because now people are giving me dirty looks.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not going to let it get to me, because you know what? If I don't have to go back, I'm not going to go back because of what you're doing. You're making the wrong mistakes. And I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of the same routine, you know. You know, like my husband said, you know, we're just having dinners, and that's what's bringing a whole bunch of people.
And the fact that those 20 or 30 people, by the way, are coming from that other church, that whatever one they came from.
Yeah.
It ain't that you're gaining, you're doing, it's coming for one time.
One time for dinner, and they never come back.
And it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same people.
10 people, 20.
You know, that's why, and you guys are talking about
My God,
fixing up a fellowship hall and before June.
Lord, I don't
and you guys ain't even doing nothing to it. You put a little wall up. Wow. A little wall with bricks.
I need a magnifying glass to find it.
No, it's bricks.
Did you catch that? I said, I better need a magnifying glass just to find it. Probably couldn't see it.
Probably not, but you know, I mean, we're not gonna. You ain't gonna do that. You guys are lazy men, you know, lazy men that you say you called the men out tonight. Said, oh, let's all talk about the fellowship hall. How we're gonna do this, and how we're gonna do that before Easter, and all this, and an Easter play. Who is gonna do an Easter play? Hello, get their head. No one's gonna wear that bug-eyed bunny hat, bunny suit when it's freaking hot.
Hey, by the way, let's see. What was this supposed to be, honey? It was not about the Easter bunny, right?
It's about God rising out of the ground. That's what Easter's all about. It's God rising out of the grave. You guys said that He rolled the stone away out of the cave. Well, if He did that, then that's what Easter's all about.
I have somebody dressed up in a bunny suit.
For the kids.
Well, still, You're trying to teach
and
them
trying to
something.
do Easter hunt eggs
You're
and
trying
dinner.
to teach them. If you're in church, I'm not a big church,
You're supposed to be learning about Jesus Christ.
so I would rather see somebody dress up as that.
Like Nick used to do it until he stopped going to church for once and come back.
Yeah, all in traders, but they left you and I there, for
Yeah.
more than 6 months.
Yeah, 6
I
months.
finally just said, "Oh hell, I'll stay home for 6 months." It wasn't that long after.
But who want to wear a bug-eyed Easter bunny suit?
Oh boy.
I wouldn't dare put on a hot bug-eyed bunny suit. Okay, I'm not a little small kid anymore. I'm not gonna dress up in that because if I did, I would pull every hair out of my if any kids come up to me like that. Smack me on the ass or pull my tail or something, that's not worth it. But I agree with my husband and everything. It's been bothering me because, like my husband, I come home yesterday crying because what I've been through or what I thought about, the family dollar. And I appreciate that everything's calming it down in there now because my husband fixed it for me. He made a video, bless his little heart. But it's not about about you, Curtis. It's about what we want. We want happiness. You got what you got. Be happy with what you got.
Because you may not have it tomorrow.
Yeah, you might not have it. Like you said, a song that we sung earlier. We don't know what is coming tomorrow. Like Stephanie picked out, that song brings her. She says she thinks about that every day. We don't know how long we've got to live. And, it bothers my head. And, like Blake was singing that song, keep your eyes walking on the water, waves. Okay, nobody can walk on water.
Well, they mean spiritually.
Well,
With because when he comes back, truth is, he's not going to come back in a physical form.
He's going to come back in a spirit.
In a spiritual form. And come and get everybody.
And this is another thing. You say that we're going to hear the trumpets when the Lord comes. I don't know if that's true or not. But you're saying that we can't get in heaven if we're good people or bad people. I understand that. I don't care where my body goes. If I die, my body's gonna lay in the ground. My spirit's gonna go up to heaven.
Well, it ain't your body. Your body's gonna stay where it's at.
Yeah, your spirit will.
Whether it's in the river.
But when you say that there's a such thing as hell, that good people go to hell or bad people go to hell, that's what you're saying. That's what's in the Bible. That's not true. Yeah, bad people go to hell. They're gonna rot in eternity. But good people that God knows that He made us out of His own hands, out of sand. I know this for a fact. I'm going to get that straight for you. Or it takes two parents to tangle that made us kids. We wouldn't be here if our parents weren't tangling us, we wouldn't be here today on earth. You say the youth is going to be our traditional when we go. That's not going to be true.
No, it's
that
the technology and all the
yeah
worldly stuff.
Yeah, you said the world is getting bad. I'm worried about you, Curtis. What do you do during the day?
I think he's he's got a few.
I think you got some screws loose. But it's bothering me. I can talk to my husband without fussing and fighting and carrying on. He could talk to me in a normal volume. I hate this. I hate feeling this way, but I need to get it off my chest because it's better than holding it in, and it bothered me all day. It's church is just, well, I would say smirch the church. Smirch. I can watch church on TV. I can, have church in my own home if I want to. Like my husband said, I can have church in my own home. Like there's Ken Copeland. He does church stuff. He's from Texas.
Well, the thing is, his church is
I know.
a lot bigger.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying.
Oh, he's got at least 2,000 or 3,000. They probably sits in there.
Yeah, but I mean, I can watch him on TV.
Oh yeah, they got a TV contract. I've seen it on.
Yeah, and he, I can watch him for, on church mornings.
Nothing like sitting in there. They had another thing we ain't brought up here. Oh, what time is it?
Oh yeah.
What?
Why do you guys time your preaching? You shouldn't time your preaching.
I'm so worried about where the next meal's gonna come.
Okay, if you're going to church Sunday morning, stop and get you a breakfast.
Hey,
If you're
I tell you
hungry.
what. If you get a few of those extra dollars, you go over there to McDonald's.
Get it cheaper.
Go get you a biscuit and a Coke.
And a gravy.
And it don't cost you a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
Plus a little tax. Oh well.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
But my husband's right on everything. I'm gonna start staying home every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, and every Wednesday night. I'm gonna make a tradition of this because I can't be in a church and feel uncomfortable. I'd rather be home talking to my husband, not staring at bare walls. And you say God is changing your Bible. I'm watching you flip the pages. I've noticed that.
God
And you say you study the Word of God. And you said we're supposed to go out in the community and tell people about our Lord Jesus Christ.
And where they?
You don't do it.
Nowhere.
You don't do it, Curtis, so don't tell us to do it. Okay? If you want to do it yourself.
Yeah, go preach it.
Go pass those things out that you got on the table.
Oh my God, right there's Crack Whore Apartments. Hey,
Okay,
go
you need to go to the Crack Core Apartments.
Go up there and knock on them doors. Let's see.
Go to Meg Square. It's called Meg Square, but I call Crack Core.
It's called Stevens Square.
Oh, Stevens Square, my bad, but I call it Court. What is it called, honey? We call it?
It's called Crack Whore.
Oh, Crack Core Apartments. Because nobody up there likes me, and I don't give a fuck. But my husband is right on everything. So if you got anything to say to him, Curtis, say it to his face because he's not scared of you. But you're too chicken ass to do it. You don't have no balls. Oh, wait, you don't have no balls. You just have grapefruits like Vince McMahon.
He got raisins.
Oh, yeah, raisins. My bad. Raisins.
Grapefruits are
round.
pretty big.
But here's my husband.
Oh. I know it got me thinking, y'all, a funny thing she brought up there toward the end, and you got me thinking, Lord, there's an hour of TV time that these bigger churches, a few of them, have a contract with these local TV stations. And they tell you exactly what they're going to preach on. And they read from, and they even show the stuff on the TV. So if you can, I guess, if you can't hear, you can, if you can see, you can read it. Well, to me, I'm not saying y'all have to go out there and get, because y'all ain't got that, you ain't got enough money. You've got just probably barely over mine and my wife's check, or at least that much. The preacher that was down here before you was bragging about making $500. They was telling everybody, oh, he's making $500. And all he was doing was preaching by himself, and he's freaking problems. He's drunk and and he's at the bar. Lord have mercy. Sounds like Ric Flair or something on every night after the ring. After he got out of the ring, it sounds like one of his tales or something. Except his would be a lot more. It'd be a lot more active. Talking about Space Mountain. I'll just use his phrase. Uh, but anyway, no, it's just ridiculous that when a fella thinks that and like I said, everybody admits to doing something wrong, but and I understand well if I don't bring it up in my speech a little bit, well at least say you've done something. Don't just sit there and look at the 10, 20 people you got in an audience and just look at them and actually say you've done nothing. And that's what I have noticed. A lot of the pastors don't take any responsibility for anything they've done. So we already know about the 10 Commandments. We know about all this. Thou shalt not do this. Thou shalt not do that. Well, okay. Like I said, I've never murdered anybody. I've never done, a lot of those, but there are some I do every week. And I can name them, quite a bit of them. But I've not studied on it in a long time. But, don't say God's name in vain, or you don't do this, you don't do that. Well, if I'm going out, a lot of people like to blame me for something, and Kobe was one that got him to do it. Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing this before I ever met Kobe and got the wrestling talk started. It wasn't him. I used to always go around and censor, myself and stuff and all that. And I just got to worry because people, it's on TV, it's on all this other stuff. Why not? It's not like I'm drinking a beer. It's not like I'm smoking a cigarette, putting drugs in my system, hurting my insides. So, like I said, the worst thing that's going to happen is your spirit's going to go up there, and your spiritual self will be judged for what you did down here. And then it's decided whether or not you get to be up there in the new body or whatever spiritually. But it's not, y'all are worried about what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink. Like we said, go out and get you a freaking burger. Go out there and get you a biscuit. Go out there and get you a drink.
He said, "No, tell me he has time before to get a brownie."
Go out there. See, you're eating junk food. See, you're sitting there stuffing cakes and all that crap in your mouth. Now, I'm not saying I don't ever eat it. I don't eat a snack. But if your stomach's going to be full, it ain't going to be because of junk food. It's going to be because you got something in your stomach. Junk food is not going to help.
He said that's all he works.
So, maybe what your problem really is, well, you got a couple of problems. One, you don't know how to spend your money. And I don't know what you got and I don't know what you don't got. Well, I don't know what your cable's like. I don't know what your bills come out to be. But if you can't spare a couple of ones or something, because even I don't work, even my wife don't work, but yet I know at least have to have 2 jobs. You got the pasture, but most pastors even have a second. So they can kind of make ends meet because you don't get much for sitting up there talking. Standing up there and talking, whichever one. Half the time you just don't preach anyway. You get, I'm just going to take the day off. I'm going to let somebody come up here and just talk for 30 minutes. Hell, we might just have fellowship for 30 minutes. I've seen that before. I've seen everything under the sun that you could possibly see as excuses not to have church. The latest of which is a damn virus. Y'all running like with your head cut off, like a chicken with his head cut off. Cause a goddamn virus. Let it kill us. Probably the best thing for some of these people. You know? Whether they know it or not. I mean, there's got to be a reason I'm too mean to die, I guess. You know, and it was just a thing we used to always say, you know, well, they're too mean to die, you know. Or, my mama's too mean to die early. She's been saying ever since I've been, oh my God, had to be in my late teens or early 20s. She went over to some psychic idiot, said she's gonna die gonna die before the little brat Star, my stepsister, graduated, and Sean for that matter. And she's still here. Still here. Still here. So, again, just like I don't believe in psychics, I don't believe in Bigfoot, I don't believe in no freaking UFOs, I don't believe in any of that horse shit. They can sit there till the cows come home and I won't watch it. I won't listen to it. My dad, if he were here right now, he would back me up on it. I would take a nap if there was even a movie on like Star Wars or anything else that I just could not stomach to watch. But like I said, you guys have just got to get off your high horse. If you want to say something, like I've confronted people out in front of Pig before, sitting there saying, well, I'd like to see church out in the schools. I'd like to see them put a Bible class. I overheard that. I said, well, you know why it ain't happening? Because y'all are the reason it ain't happening. Because you ain't getting up there speaking. You're scared. Even the schools, the teachers, and the main bosses over them know that they have no balls to do it. You know why? Because they would fire someone and they would replace them just like that. And they don't make probably even close to what we make, if maybe a little more than we do. I don't know what it costs to be a teacher, how much they get paid, but they always go, oh, they're grossly underpaid. Everybody's fucking underpaid, just about. Hell, you work full time down here, you're making about probably $700-800. My dad, when he worked at Peyton's for 17 years, I bet he probably only got. He had a $500 rent he was paying on the house he was renting at the time. And by the time he got cable's probably almost $100 something, $150, $200. So right there's about $700. Time you pay for water and I don't believe water shouldn't be that high. I don't know why the water run, but it shouldn't be too high. But when you pay for electric and all that, you got to have close to $1,000 with all the overtime hours that they work, plus what they're normally supposed to work. Because most time he did get offered overtime a lot of times, and he used to tell me all the time that he ended up having to cut some of his stuff down, and he'd barely scrape by most time. And instead of him cooking, and because it cost a lot, and him cooking out and stuff, we'd be lucky if we got a freaking pizza. And I was happy as a lark. I didn't care when I go down there and stay down there at my dad's. I didn't care if it was raviolis in a can. I didn't care. He bought plastic bowls, plastic cups. He bought plastic silverware. He didn't even buy he didn't buy no utensils or nothing. I don't know if he might have had a knife. I don't even know if he had a real knife. I don't remember if he even had a real knife. But like I said, he had whatever tools he had and stuff. But he didn't. Yeah, he wanted things he didn't have to do. Until he got married the second time, he didn't even have dishes or anything. He had plastic bowls and plates. He tried to buy the heavy duty ones, but they still, it wasn't the best, but it was a little better. But he tried, to buy the heavy duty ones. So, but like I said, y'all sit out here and talk a good game and behind my back, and my wife comes home and kind of gets tore up about it. But I guarantee you, after tonight's video, she ain't gonna get tore up about it. She's just gonna start laughing in front of your faces, and y'all are just gonna be as guilty as the next person, because all the stuff that you flap your gums about and go on about, well, y'all just as guilty. Maybe in other areas, but y'all are just as guilty. You may not cuss like me or her. You may not get upset like a lot of people might. Y'all may have different ways y'all do things, and maybe y'all don't like us. We don't murder people, and we don't uh, do a lot of the 10 Commandments. But there are some that you break weekly. Like I said, I can't name them all right now, but I'm just telling you, for as much as me and her's had to take, and this is why I didn't put a time limit on this video, because me and her had quite a bit we had to say. I just feel like, y'all really need to y'all say y'all see these videos or some of them, really take a look at this video and apply it to your heart. Because you may wind up in a situation kind of like ours one day. You may wind up handicapped like us one day. Don't wish it on you. But you may wind up in a situation sort of like we are. We're lucky to still have what we got. But it's not the best. But one of these days, you may be looking in another mirror. And you may be sitting there without the rest of your support system. And you may be having to find other ways. And you might be saying, well, I'll just go out there and make me some more friends at part-time stuff. Well, if that's what floats your boat, but you ain't guaranteed to get it now, are you? So, and like I was going to say, the worldly stuff that everybody brags about, the apps and all that other stuff. You can watch this church shit on a whole different level. You don't even need a church building to go with. You don't need a freaking church to have church. You can have it anywhere. I used to have, I had people I didn't even know a couple of times. One time it happened out there where I worked at Sonic, and a guy from Florida came out and he asked me, he said, do you mind if I pray with you for a minute? And I wasn't going to knock him. I was going to say, nah. I didn't want to make the guy feel bad, but I wasn't really that religious. But hell, it was just for a minute. And I thought, well, they can't do nothing about it. But the reason we don't have this stuff everywhere, and the reason it's not so much talked about, except for in your little enclosed building that you supposedly give God credit for, which actually humans built. He didn't build all these churches. Just like when we have tornadoes, and if we have a natural disaster, if we left it up to the Spirit of God to do, this damn world will never get nothing done. We've created buildings. We've had to build houses back. I see it on TV all the time. God just ain't going to magically lay all this stuff at your feet and have it where you don't have to do nothing. So we have to do the work or nothing gets done. And he might have been here thousands upon thousands of years ago for 33 and a half years or whatever it was. But he ain't here no more. He may be here spiritually, but he's not here in the physical form anymore. So, I just, like I said, you want to run her down tonight, so I'm getting you back. And I'm going to make you feel as shitty as you made her feel and then some. Because I guarantee you, even your wife, your kids, or whoever else you got that supports you, y'all be thinking different the next time you speak of something out like that. If you want to come and talk to me about it, you know where I live. You know where we go about once a week. My wife walks these roads out here. And I bet you've probably seen her a time or two. She goes and tries to do my errands because the way my feet and everything are and how it takes her longer to get me down there than it does for her to go down there by herself. It's easier for her to do. I'm going to get out and probably do the most walking I'm going to do for this time tomorrow. I don't know how long I'll be there, depending on what happens and who takes us home or winds up taking us home. And it'll also affect what I get. If I get ice cream, it takes a while. And it'll melt by the time we get home. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. Like I said, right now, I've preached longer than you fucking preach usually in a fucking week. And getting close to, well, now, what is it? Almost an hour and a half. And she don't even go to Sunday school, but, that takes up, whatever, 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. But everything's an hour about. You might go over an hour sometimes, but you flip-flop the time sometimes, or you do certain things. So, again, it's not like you have really done a lot of good by doing this, because you just make yourself and others around you just as guilty of whatever it is you were foaming off at the mouth about tonight, besides what you were talking about, which that made her the maddest because you kept going on about all that. It's none of your business. Like I said, it'd be one thing if me or my wife were coming up to your door and bothering your neighbors or bothering you about it. And I ain't out here trying to stir up nothing that I ain't, that it don't involve. But you want to get personal at church, well, you come if you want to come, and I invite you to do something that you don't do. If I see you out here handing out church things, or you come up here and talk to me if you want to talk to me. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to. But I'm just telling you, I'd watch what I say, because different people comes in there. It's already discriminatory as it is towards, people that marry other people, that's bisexual, gays, or whatever. I don't like gays necessarily, but I don't mind two women exactly. I don't mind that, but I don't want to see, like I said, I got an age preference. I don't see two young ones done than two old ones. I just have a preference. Man, my God, if you was watching the fucking wrestling back then, if you even know what that is. God, I don't even know if he does, but if you was watching the WWF back then in the 90s, you would have saw what I'm talking about. Especially from 97 to early, well, they had it for close to 10 years there on and off. But anyway, if you ever watched any kind of stuff like that, it's no worse than one of y'all putting on one of them raunchy movies. Don't dare tell me you ain't never seen none of these movies with no cussing in it, unless you just strictly watch unless you just strictly watch Passion of the Christ movies or maybe cartoon movies. I mean, you'd have to live like a bum if you don't know what I'm talking about. So, like I said, we'll live like we have to live. We'll have to accept whatever the fate is. We can't beat each other up over it. It'll be what it is supposed to be. If we were supposed to have this or have it at whatever time is designated, whenever they find their way out here, then okay. If they don't, it's all right. We'll figure something out. With our stuff, I don't know whether we'll be at this same place for the rest of our life or not. If we get a third, and only a third, but if we get another person and stuff, we'll have to move. We can't stay here. So, that's up in the air, just like everything else we would like to do is up in the air. But it's not about the thing you got in your head. It's sex stuff. If you go by the book and stuff, well, this is adultery, this is that, or whatever. Well, you know what? Like I said, you have the way you want to have fun. And as my wife said earlier, she just made, since you like to drive people up the wall and make people feel like shit as it is anyway, there ain't really no reason to go up there. Like she said, it's the same 5 or 10 people. But I did say in my videos, I said, well, hell, right now, it's me and my wife right now. But if somebody said, well, I don't have any of my own, but if they said, okay, and we worked it out. Well, we talked it out, made sure everybody had enough to do. We had some money flow going. If they had a job, or if we or somebody else had to try to work something out, and get, because you got to get the money flow. My wife's got a lot of clothes. I don't think we'd have to worry about any clothes. But, the diapers and things of that nature. But when that gets to that point, if that person ends up, wanting something like that later on, when we've had all this other time to have the talks and what needs to be done, okay. But I just said, if they had kids already of their own, I'll take care of them as long as they're good kids. But I'm not going to sit there and listen to the baggage of this drama about well, this person did this, that person did that, and if I wasn't there to see it, and my wife wasn't there to verify anything, don't know anything of it for a fact, then and you're having that much problem with it, like we had this one up here talking about it, we didn't even ask. And she just felt free to talk about herself, just like you do. So we're going to talk about ourselves for a while. But we're not out here beating everybody's door down and going in everybody's house and saying, oh, yeah.
My card.
Oh. Oh, her purse. Oh, Mr. Drew. That was the rat off of, oh, God dang. What is the hell's that movie? Yeah, Green Mile. Yeah. But, no, it's like I said, mostly what we'll be doing a good 85-90% of the time will be stuff that everyday people do. Eat, watch some TV, maybe go out and have some fun at the park, maybe go on a vacation once in a while if the third person can afford it, and we can pay for certain things of that nature and can afford it. But if we have somebody that just is like, hey, I really don't have that to do, it won't bother me none. I've not traveled. My wife's the one that's traveled, but it won't hurt me either way. I mean, it would be nice to do something pretty cool, something nice that none of our families ever did with us. you know, like I said, I made it. The furthest I made it was Knoxville. I ain't been out. I ain't been no further than that. Chickamauga, Georgia's not even as far. I bet as Knoxville. So, but if you want to count that, that was J Fest in 2010, the week of my birthday, from the 4th to the 6th. But no, this wasn't just an overnight thing. As a matter of fact, my wife at the time when I first brought this up, as I've said, first time.
No.
There you go. When I was there the first time, when I brought it up to her the first time, she at first, was upset a little bit, but I explained to her, I said, well, we're not getting anything out of these dang family people anyway that we've got. All these people, I mean, it's probably between mine and her family, there's probably about 800 of them. There's a lot of them I ain't never met and never been to no family reunions of my own. Of my own families, and especially I don't even think hers does anything.
Not no more.
But I'm talking about like.
Oh no,
I don't even think they do. But,
they might do a woman's lunch.
I could imagine what it'd be like if they tried, because it'd be hell.
I think we ain't gonna drive their little asses. They're too lazy.
But because it would take somebody to plan it, and then like I noticed,
they only come when we gone for Thanksgiving. Her people
would do about as much as somebody that only cares about one certain thing a year. They say this anyway. And they say, oh yeah, the football game on Thanksgiving, And it's like me with the parade, try to get me to watch the parade. I just, especially when people are singing, I don't even pay attention to it. If there's something might be on, but half the time we have the TV off.
You just talk.
And everything, we just talk like we're doing now, without this thing on, but we're making a video right now. And at times when we go to bed at night, we're probably still up another hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, till we fall asleep.
Yeah.
Well, we may talk again,
I like it when my husband rubs my head before night.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
Before night.
But, no, like I said, we just want to come out here and set all this thing straight. And, like I said, I've pretty well run you down and everybody else down. Like I said, I've said it before. If I got into one of these churches, and my people had always said I could preach a sermon out there and make a good bit of money doing it, but I'd make everybody out here mad. Apparently, I've been getting your goat because you keep bringing it up, and you
looking at me,
and your panties and your granny panties must be scratching your crotch. So, or something. But it's like you wear a thong or something. It's got the little effect. Cause when you wear one of them thongs, it's the way women put it on. It's gonna bother your butt back there when you're trying to walk.
Yeah,
but
I don't wear those things.
So it's apparently we've got you goat, but this video ought to do the trick. I don't think we'll have to hear her anymore. You think you're best at it, and I'm gonna tell you this: I'm 10 times better than you are at running people over. You ain't met your match till you've tried me out. I tell everybody this: ain't nobody hard like me. And and my mother and everybody that knows me real good, you don't want to get in front of me trying to start your stuff, because I won't stop till you fucking run out that door, until you get in that car and hush. I won't stop. It's just me. I have to get it in. I have to win. So you better be in. If you're gonna confront me, you better be in it for the long haul. This ain't gonna be 5 minutes. I'm gonna do it for as long as it takes. And if it takes me a half hour, if it takes me longer, however long you want to go, whoever that person is, anytime, I've had many people, like I said before earlier, over the phone and even today when she said, "Oh, that down there, them people down there, pig," this one old lady over there, pig, oh, I don't care what he says, screw it. And I'm like, okay, so you don't care because I'm not standing there doing it. But yet, when I have done that, just briefly, my wife's been there about the doll thing. Oh man, you could see how much it bothered them that I was telling them what I felt. Oh my God, boy! If I'd just done a little bit more, oh man, I bet they'd have run out there to their car. But you know what? I didn't because I wasn't in there to entertain that. It's just as much as I had a purpose to be in there. If my wife or me or somebody wants to put up one of these things tomorrow just for the hell of it, just to kind of give somebody a chance to maybe read it, maybe a young'un will pick it up. Maybe somebody 25, 30, somebody like that will pick it up. Maybe it won't be a gossiper. Maybe it'll be somebody that says, hey, I've never really thought about this, but I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm reading. There's somebody out there, even though they don't have a lot, we can, as they say, can combine everything and do what we have to do to, we could make this work. It's doable if you're not, out there stealing stuff. If you're not out there taking advantage of other people's stuff, our stuff's already fixed. So the only thing that we really have to worry about is whether we moved out of the state of or out of the area of where we're at. If we did, we'd have to change doctors or something like that, and definitely wouldn't be able to ride Seth up here. But but it may be, like I said, maybe somebody's got a house out here, has got some, got something already fixed up. Like I said, the biggest challenge would probably be my wife's dolls and her clothes she's got, but that's probably the biggest things. And our clothes, we've got quite a bit too. But I mean, it's no worse than probably what they got too. So I mean, if we can all make it fit and work, we'll find where there's a will, there's a way, as they say. So, somebody has to accept how we are and be as close as we are to how we are. I mean, if you're not, it's not going to work. That's why I said it's not a guarantee. Everybody wants to come out here and put on a show and say they want to do something, but then they want to go do something with their fucking family or whatever it might be, and put a show on for somebody else, and screw you, screw us for wanting to go out there and do something with you. But the minute somebody texts you or calls you and it ain't halfway to a decent emergency, oh well, by the way, just because of my brother or my sister, my aunt and my uncle, I'm gonna go, or whoever the relation is, or whatever it is, you'll go do that. So that's why we're not doing it. We've tried it. We're gonna try this and see if we get a shot at it. It's no worse than anything you could come up with. I could see a lot worse. I could be out here on the street doing some of the worst stuff to get put behind bars, and be out here doing stuff that would most definitely wouldn't get me hardly nowhere, if any, except being behind bars if I were out there being that crazy. But me and my wife just doing something nice. If a person comes, they come. If they don't, they don't. But, that's just what we have to realize, and we have to take it it comes. Every day is one last day, but hey, might be one of them things where if we give it just a little bit more time, maybe it's worth that time. Maybe it's getting set up for us. Like I said, they may look like $1,000,000. They may appear that way on the outside, but at the same time, the inside is what you'll have to end up having to make it all work the way it needs to work. So, yeah, like you said, I'm hopeful for it, and my wife, I come up with an idea. Maybe it may work, maybe it won't. And a lot of people, like I said, you and a bunch of them other people, like I told her, we got a lot of people against us. Plus, there's fucking schools out here. Kids that go to freaking schools. You can't do them. So, I mean, there is a few here and there. If somebody, we just had, what was that one we had up here that brought you home? You was all excited, that wanted to come up here in the car.
Mika.
But, had her excited. I seen her in the store, and I went and I told my wife, it was funny because I find it funny now because, if it wasn't for my wife,
Sweet.
if my wife wasn't there, she would have never spoke, hardly. She said one thing to me, and she said, "Excuse me," not in the way Vicky said, but in a nice way.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
And but anyway, I just, my wife said, "Oh, I think that's that one that took me home. I think, and blah 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 the other day." And I said, "Well, go see if And of course, she has a number, but has no no time to call, no time to text, no time to come over here. Apparently, because she's worried about all that other
My
stuff,
mama said.
all the other stuff. So I'm not knocking it, but if you know that, no, like I said, I hate it when people play both sides. I mean, if you've got your mom and all that other stuff you're worried about, don't entertain her offer. We want somebody who's not got anything they're currently worried about to the point where it would cost you and mainly us because we got nothing but free time. I mean, it's just about all free time. So yeah, if they was, even if I had a part time job, it'd only be for a couple hours and a couple of days a week. It still would be 90 something percent of my time would be spent here. And regardless of getting a paycheck, it's, every couple of weeks, it would still, like I said, it's just not enough to do for me and my wife. And that's one of the big reasons for, and the hope that somebody's nice enough and good enough to do this that could do it and it wants to do it. They don't have to, but somebody, if they felt it in their heart and they said, "Man, I could see, having a decent family thing with them." And like I said, I'll take the ring thing, and me and my wife will do our own little privacy thing with it, private ceremonial thing, and maybe if their family members want to come and do it, we'll do it kind of like what you would do at a church thing, but we'll just have our own little thing, our own little party. It'll be like a slumber party or whatever, just some kind of party thing. But we'll have everything there, and we'll do it where it won't get nobody upset or, oh no, or somebody in trouble. And as long as we don't go up to the courthouse or nothing and do that, because that would be illegal. But as long as we do it the way we want to do it, then we've already got we bought one of them things where we could write this stuff down and have it hung up, where they would have a plaque with the day we did all this. And like I said, we wouldn't do it straight away necessarily because, like I said, if we could, we'd like to wait a little while and maybe do, take them out, let them take us out, or let's take them out and do a few like you'd call like a couple of dates or something with the person and see what they were like and see if everything flowed the way we hope it would flow. And I'm sure as long as it's took, it won't be no problem. So if it come to it, like kind of like me and my wife's thing, if it has to be kind of rushy, then okay. But I'll know that this time this person will have been chosen or have chosen us for some reason. This is why we make these videos, because we want people to know that there's a certain thing we hope for, but we're not sure we'll get, but we're hopeful. If somebody wanted to reach out there, young, old, indifferent, it doesn't matter.
She answered my thing. I said,
But
"Hi there, any single woman on here now?" And she said today.
but yeah, we come out here, and usually don't do as much as we've done today, but we've kind of come out here and done some stuff more than usual. Usually we're lucky if I'm talking 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but
Thank you, Kelly Singleton.
oh, okay, go ahead. You want to
Thank
say
you,
something?
sweetheart.
But like I said, we're hopeful that at least this video we're going to post it here when we get through in a little while. We're going to post it, put it out there on the Twitter machine, out there and that, and then try that and see if anything happens. And I mean, people on here can watch it or whatever. But no, we're just, like I said, we're just trying to see where this might go, if anywhere. But yeah, we've lost a lot, but I'm hoping we'll gain a little something, and maybe even if they got some family support and something like that, maybe for have something like that to turn to, and maybe we can all kind of fill all this stuff in and have fun with them, like we didn't get to have with our families because they was too worried about their damn kids that popped out, or in my family's case, they just get too old and just don't know how to have fun anymore. Most of my wife's problem with her side is they all had these dang kids, and now that they're all grown up, they're saying, "Oh, oh, I wish I could meet Drake now." I heard this like I don't know how many times. Even this past time they brought a new, well, they know what a new dryer, it can't be, and a new supposedly a new washer, but I dispute it. I'll just put it that way. But it's working for now. But usually what they bring don't last hardly no time. But anyway, I told her if it tears up, we can go. We can wash the clothes here. We can just dry them
At the
thing,
wash barn.
at the wash barn, and it will cut down if we don't have to wash. Just dry. It will cut a lot of that time out.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to put quarters back and all that stuff every time we get some.
If we do get a ride home and such, we can't do it like they said they can't. Can I get a teddy bear?
But
Guys, soft, because I like teddy bear.
but if I get my check tomorrow, we'll see how we come out. I don't even know. I won't promise nothing. And as bad as it's going to be tomorrow, we may not be able to get no mail tomorrow if it does what it's going to do.
She'll have to come early.
She'll probably be out here pretty early. I don't know.
I'll have to walk down these.
We'll just have to see. It may be extremely slow tomorrow, so things going the way I'm thinking they might go. It's going to be kind of touch and go tomorrow. So we'll just have to play this day out tomorrow. But every day after it's just going to be good. So. You don't get many of these in Decatur, Tennessee, very often. So. My wife knows I'm pretty close to knowing about what I'm used to up here. So It doesn't.
I'm not used to it.
It doesn't surprise her. Well, heck, you've been here 10 years with me. You ain't got used to it yet.
Honey, I'm from Florida, honey.
What was you used to down there? Was you used to anything?
Tornado.
No.
And they sound like a train coming through.
And you was used to. Well, I thought they have hurricanes down there. It's hurricane.
It's hurricanes and tornadoes.
It's hurricanes mostly. They may have a tornado, but mostly it's.
But it was hot and pretty.
Hurricanes.
It was hot
That's
and
what
pretty
you got
out
to worry
there.
about. Mostly.
See, if you don't recognize my language, it's because I'm from Florida. I'm from Tampa, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Florida.
Your accent.
My accent, sorry. My accent, my bad. My accent. I'm not really from Meigs County, if anybody knows.
I'm not either, but I'm close by.
He was from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Close enough.
But, like my husband said, it just, he's right on everything,
Man, I say, you ain't trying to kill anything, anybody over this, but it's like, if we want to do our fun time, if we want to have fun, not necessarily meaning adult time, if they so desire, because I know that's what the pastor probably is going on about some of it. For hell, I mean, it's no different than him fucking his probably 50-something-year-old wife at home.
She's only 35
or whatever she is.
She's 36.
Good Lord. I mean, my
He's
God.
45.
He'll start having, okay, so he's older. Well, I didn't know that. Well, anyway, my point is, hell, I mean, you get, it may be, like I said, it might just be wrong in your eyes, but like I said, it's no different when and like I said, the person may be like, hey, and we would respect it. As long as we got hugs and could do the kiss thing and do that kind of thing, and like my wife, she likes a head rub thing. And she likes massages and stuff. But I mean, he's
a very good massager.
Like I said, it's not about what y'all make this whole thing out to be.
You guys always think it's about sex when it's not.
And it's like, God, now you're killing me.
Yeah, and you upset me.
I mean, half the time we don't even. I mean, over half the time we never. Every once in a while me and her might get in the mood, but it's not every day. It's maybe not even once a week sometimes. I mean, like I said, back in my 20s or something like that, you might have said, well, he's never really hadn't had it before. So when you may be like me, you may just try it, or something. But like I said, it's mostly what I like to say. It's just the action of this. Once you've had that, it's just kind of what comes after. It's usually what's worse. So, but if you're smart about it, and you plan stuff out, and you say, hey, we can do this here, make this thing here, do this and that, and whatever. We could figure it all out, have a plan. If it comes to that, and sit here like adults and say, okay, because then that could be a dad or whatever you want to say, or like, she could be like another mom to it or something. And we could all just work together instead of having all this wishy-washy shit with everybody else, fucking these people up the ass and digging these girls' pussies and everything else, and having this fucking, street horse shit out here. At least, somebody said, hey, I wouldn't mind to have at least one, whatever. And, my wife said she wouldn't mind having a little bit of fun too there once in a while if they so choose. So, like I said, it's not about that, though. I mean, the most thing is, as long as we get if they're having fun with what we like and mostly like, they may have a few items they may be different in. They may have some, or just like I'm trying to say, some other areas where they might like a little different uh, food choices. They may like a little different, some they may like, they may come out and they may like, well, I like to fish here once in a while, or I like to ride a horse once in a while. Yeah, I'm not crazy about none of that. As a matter of fact, I don't want to get on no horse because I know what happens. But I could stand there and compromise and say, well, okay, I'll just watch or something.
Yeah.
From afar, if you want to do that, I'm not going to knock you. But it's like I said, if you want to drink a beer, if you wanted a cigarette every now and again, okay, as long as I don't have to participate in that. When I tell you, I'll if you want to drink a spare beer once in a while, and you say, "Well, Derek, you know," and I'll say, something similar to like, "Well, is it okay, me and her to still cope, or whatever we can find? We'll join you that way." I'm not going to sit here and let somebody beat me and her over the head with, you know. But I felt like I had to come out here and put a video. So he ought to get enough of this. And I'll tell you this: he'll get so tired of looking at my face. He'll get tired of looking. He'll get tired of talking about it. He will be shut up. I won't have to worry about getting up there and preaching this sermon up there because I'll have everybody in that whole church has to go to the bathroom by the time I get done. But yeah, we've been out here a little while now. Oh wow, 2 hours. Boy, that's really funny when you go to 2 hours on something. But I think you ready to end it. I think we're ready to end it. But we put the ring in that. Where did you put that earlier?
It's up on the TV stand.
Oh, up on the stand. I didn't know where it was at. I forgot. But we're gonna
put it on there again.
we're gonna before we cut this out. I guess one more time is to. I didn't know where she put it. Oh, I see.
That was how much money said.
Oh, well, I see. You still having it in a bag. Here. Well, it's just what we showed earlier. So if you're just out here and you just wondering, this is what we were going to use to. Oh, and here's her ring.
Dorothy.
Here's Dorothy. She collects reborns and stuff, and she likes to draw, color. There's another one. She's got quite a few. Most of them's box stuff. We've got a big one over here, but we try not to mess with her too much.
She has a rubber hat.
Cause she's hard to get up. But every once in a while we'll try to put her on there for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, we bought this at Walmart, and they've got a picture taped on the back here.
Yeah.
But
did you show it yet?
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, we bought this with our stimulus money and everything, and this is what we would use. I bought my wife something similar to it.
Yeah.
It was almost the same. I wasn't really counting on it, but it's just kind of pretty close to the same design. And my wife says she has a hard time with her fingers sometimes, the swelling up and stuff sometimes, and she don't always wear it. So for people saying, "Well, I thought she's married," or whatever, she just
see my hand swell.
But
see,
one time we had to get one of them things cut off.
Yes, my mama's wedding ring.
So anyway, we try to be careful, but she puts usually she'll put it on. Got it on a necklace. And she'll wear it like that, or sometimes she might, every now and again put one on. Put that on. That one I got her. But We
The
try to
first
we
one.
try to really watch or whatever one she's got. But anyway, we just want to kind of come out here and I think I've hit everything. Let's see. We like Atlanta Braves, baseball,
And I don't like the XFL bullshit.
the football, XFL football.
It sucks, Brock.
But anyway, let's see. What is there anything? Talked about your movie channel. Talked about this. Let's see. Your walks. Let's see.
I play with my bunnies.
Oh yeah, she's got
A cow.
couple of bunnies and the neighbor's cows over here sometimes.
Yeah.
She'll go out there and pet them.
And our next door neighbor's dog, Corey.
Oh, hey, tell them what the names are your bunnies.
Buster, Daisy, Thumper, and Jerry. And why I named one of the bunnies after my favorite wrestler, Jerry Lawler. Bless his little heart.
And Catherine, your dog, came up from there.
Uh-huh.
But let's see, is there anything else?
I go to thrift stores.
She likes to go thrift store and she'll let's see.
I like to go grocery shopping.
Yeah. We both like that, so you won't have no trouble there.
I do house chores. I do dishes and laundry.
I can't.
I like to play basketball, go to the fair.
Like I said, we'll throw darts. That's amazing, though, and I don't do them much, but when I do them, I make everything like a competition. So I do my best when I'm put up against it. So for dodgeball, I used to like to do dodgeball.
And I like cheerleading.
So
Yes, I used to be a cheerleader. And what I forgot to put on the other video, I did travel a lot. I went to Macon, Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, the Illinois, where my old stepdad was. And I went to Ohio to go live with my daddy. I traveled up here on July 4th of 2011.
it had to be at least 2010.
Oh, yeah, 2010, my bad, 2010.
Yeah, I met you about a year and a half before.
After that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2010.
You came. Yeah, because I met you twice. And I didn't tell nobody.
Yeah, and that's another thing. My husband never told anybody that he was dating me. We kept that quiet because I didn't want it ruined.
You don't usually see that happen, do you?
No.
I think it's still amazing, kitty.
I am glad I'm married and not with Bonehead.
But, yeah, anyway, you know, like I said in the other video, we just we make our own selves crack up at certain things.
Like that Jim Cornette.
Sarcastic kind of stuff, you know, and we just come up with our own stuff. We don't do the handy joke bugs, the little stuff like that. It don't even make me smile.
And you know what else makes me laugh is when Jim Cornette calls Bad Bunny Bugs Bunny.
No, Bugs Bunny.
Well, it was Bad Bunny, but it's funny when Jim Cornette calls it Bugs Bunny.
And I'll tell you what, I looked up some of that garbage and I couldn't even make out half of it.
And Enzo.
I didn't even listen to it, but I just the song titles. I was like, God dang, this thing ain't even English.
Jim Cornette, I like it when you make fun of Enzo. What was his name, honey?
Enzo Amore.
Oh, yeah. And I do like his music, by the way. I think I got the hit.
Grabbing my essential penis or whatever.
Oh, Lord, I love it. It cracks me up.
talks about his wife lied on him about his deal with her. Said she tried to claim it's that like that Me Too movement garbage.
Yeah.
And people try these attention whores getting on there and trying to get their little 15 minutes
Fame.
and I'm not saying like I said it don't happen, but it's a shame that people that are found to be innocent lose their job and shit over stuff like this.
Yeah.
It happens more times than not that these women are lying. But and like I said, I'm all for people coming out. But if you're not gonna come out right away or close to right after that, the statute of limitations run out. You can't wait 10 years, 20 years, 30 years like that. A lot of this stuff they won't believe you after you wait that long. That's the only thing I don't like, about it, mainly. Ain't got nothing against the movement, but it's sad when you find out a lot of these will sit there and blame people that's on TV, been on TV for decades, and they'll sit there and use the excuse, oh, I was scared. I was afraid this was going to happen or that. Worst thing they can do is fucking kill you. But they ain't going to do that, obviously, especially not Bob Barker. But, they tried to bust these people, claim that they's doing all this shit. I mean, in settings like freaking, they did these fucking 30-minute shows, whatever. Bob Barker hosted Price is Right forever.
We miss you, Bob Barker.
35 years and been on TV for 50. And I'm like, my God, come on.
Bob Barker's the sweetest person I've ever met.
But anyway, I just don't. I mean, I know I don't know Bob Barker, and I don't know a lot of these been put in the news before. But I'm just saying, Lord have mercy. It's like I said, if you ain't got no proof of physical proof would be hard because then
I had a lot of proof
after. Well, no, I'm just saying the liquids or the stuff that you'd have, that's been done like that. It'd be hard to prove that.
Yeah.
But physical harm or injury, much easier to do. Especially if it ain't, something that's going to go away no way soon. But that's what I'm saying. You may be frightened and scared at the same time, but you
need to tell the police right away.
You need to go out there as soon as the coast is cleared.
Call 911
and just do what you need to be doing. If you can't help yourself, nobody can help you. I said that when we had this, unknowingly this crack whore appear, and we can't, if you can't help yourself, we can't help you. I'm doing everything I can do to help you with it, give you good advice. You take it or leave it. That's the way I look at it. So, anyway, hey, we're about, oh God, we're 2 hours, almost 2 hours, 15 minutes in. So, she's done. I may.
Good night, Kelly. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it.
I think we'll.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, sweetheart. Bye, sweetheart.
But we don't normally have time frames that we come on here, so if any ladies out here, or just if you watch this video, or half of it, or whatever you want to watch of it, but if you. I was on there almost an hour and something after my wife came on. It was a little over an hour, so y'all probably have to watch. I'll put down here in the thing. I'll have to because we got on another subject, So I'll kind of go back and watch it and see how long it was till the other portion of the unicorn bestie thing. But anyway, we'll see you later. Bye.